Hello students and welcome to the class. I am your history teacher Manoj Arora. Today we will be starting with the next part of the chapter, that is Kings and Chronicles. But before I start the chapter, I hope you all will be safe at your homes, taking care of your family as well as yourself. Today we will be reading about the Chronicles which were written by the Mughals. In the last video I told that there was a particular motive, that why would Mughals get these chronicles written. They wanted their ideas, their policies, their motive, their view to be known by the people, by the others. Now, if I talk about the chronicles contain the images, they would contain various writings, and while the scribes would be writing, they would leave the space for the painters. The painters would paint, and many a times these images, these paintings or miniatures. Now miniatures could be taken out and could be rotated away, could be passed away, so that everybody could see that and understand that. Beside that, paintings would add a lot of attraction to the book. It would also be possible that the people, those who are not able to read, would be able to understand something by seeing the painting. Paintings or the miniatures, Abul Fazl called it a magical art. Painting was the source of tension between the Mughal orthodoxy and the rulers. Now the Muslim orthodoxy feel that a painter, when they were painting the living things, they were trying to bring themselves equal to God. This Muslim orthodoxy had cited many examples, even of Prophet Muhammad also, where it was refused not to paint any living being because it was the sole discretion and the power of God. But Abul Fazl did not like it. He absolutely, from the side of the rulers, from the side of the Mughals, he was the person who would totally ready to debate on this, oppose this. He actually said that he hated such people, those who hated this magical art. He told that if the painting was made in that way, the painter or the artist was not trying to come in equal to God. Rather, he was showing that he is the person who is not able to bring life to those lifeless things, whereas God can. So, the painter was not appropriating the power of God, not trying to get equal to the power of God. Hence, he totally opposed this. And he absolutely wanted the paintings to be done, and the book he had written, he had himself got many paintings added in there. Even many of the Muslim rulers like Behzad, he was a great painter who was in the Safavid court, Mir Sayyid Ali, Abdus Samad, and there are many people like that. Even they had gone to Delhi also in the Mughal court in order to paint. Now I will talk about two great chronicles, that is Akbarnama and Badshahnama. Let us start with Akbarnama. On an average, Akbarnama and Badshahnama both have 150 paintings in it. Scenes of sieges, hunt, court scenes and construction scenes are there. And the qualities Abul Fazl had, why he was chosen to write Akbarnama. He was chosen because he was a powerful debater. He was a great thinker and independent thinker, and he had openly opposed the ulamas. He had opposed all the policies which he felt that were against the Mughals. That's why Mughals found him to be a right spokesperson for the policies to be made and initiated. That's why he was the spokesperson of the Mughal court. From 1589 Abul Fazl had worked around for 13 years on Akbarnama. Actual records now, how he had, on what basis he added the content in Akbarnama. There were certain actual records taken, official documents, and the testimonies of the knowledgeable people, those who had great knowledge about the Mughals, their family and their rule. Now, while making this, he had used the diction and rhythm in order to read it properly. Akbarnama is divided into three parts. The first part is from Adam to the first celestial cycle of Akbar, that is till 30 years. And the second is book, from where the first book ends to the 46th regnal year. Actually, these two are the chronicles. And the third part is Ain Akbari. I will teach you about Ain Akbari in the end of this chapter. It is the part. Abul Fazl actually he fell in trap of the plan made by Prince Salim. Under this, he was murdered by Bir Singh Bundela. Now, Akbarnama we can study it in two ways. If I study diachronic way, in diachronic way, we can study about all the records of the political events which happened at that time. And if I talk about the synchronic way, I can talk about the geography, administration and culture which was prevailing at that time. Now coming to Badshahnaama, it was written by Abdul Hamid Lahori. Now this book was also divided into three parts. But Abdul Hamid Lahori had written only the first and the second part. Because of his old age, he was not able to complete this book. And the third part was written by Varis. This book contains the 3 volumes, the Daftars, which would be a time span of 10 lunar years each. Asiatic Society of Bengal was founded by Sir William Jones in 1784. This society was mainly responsible for translating, for editing and for printing the Indian manuscripts. After a painful work, a long painful work, Akbarnama was translated to English by Henry Beveridge. Whereas some parts of Badshahnaama were translated, but the entire book was not. Its entire translation is still awaiting. I hope you have understood this chapter. I request all of you to read NCERT books, that is a must. If you have got any problem, please write in the comment box. In the comment box, please write your name, class and section also, so that we can see that whether you have seen the videos. If you still get some problem, you can come to online classes which are arranged by the school at the daily basis. Thank you very much. God bless you.